Mr. Porter and Tabby Bake the Cake. 그 다음에 어디야? Chapter A Good Cake. It was winter time. Mr. Porter and his fine cat Tabby sat at their window every night to watch the snow come down. They watched and dreamed. Mr. Porter dreamed of the big red sled he rode as a boy. She dreamed of snowmen big as a house. Tabby dreamed too. She dreamed of the snow crabs she walked on his kitten. She dreamed of deep and dry hours. Mr. Porter and Tabby were old now. They had a lot to dream about. That is why they loved wintertime. They also loved wintertime because wintertime brought Christmas. Mr. Porter loved to give Christmas presents. He started thinking about Christmas presents in July. He liked to think what he could give to the grocer and to the librarian in the first month. Mr. Porter also had to think of what he could give to his neighbor, Mrs. Tiberi. This was hardest of all. He usually had to think about this all the way to December. Mrs. Tiberi liked strange things. She liked coconuts made into monkey hats. She liked salt shaker that walked across the table. She liked little dress for her teapot. She even liked fruitcake. Mr. Porter could live with monkey hats and walking salt shakers and dressed up teapot. But Mr. Porter could not believe that Mrs. Tiberi liked fruitcake. He could not believe that anyone liked fruitcake. Every Christmas, Mrs. Tiberi mounds of fruitcake. It worried Mr. Porter. This winter time, it was worrying him at all. He thought Mrs. Tiberi shouldn't tell a good cake for Christmas. Not a fruitcake that could bake her toe if she dropped it. A good cake, a light and airy cake. And one night, as he and Tabby sat dreaming at the snowing window, that is what he decided to give Mrs. Tiberi for Christmas. Mr. Porter would bake her a Christmas cake. It would be a cinch. 쉬울 줄 알았다는데. 아니 쉽다고 하네요. Chapter 2 No Pants. The cake was not a cinch. In the first place, Mr. Porter did not know how to bake a cake. He could bake instant muffins, he could bake instant pop bars, but he never baked a cake. He didn't know how. In the second place, Mr. Porter had no pans. He had books. He had muffin pans, he had pop pans, but he had no cake pans. If he baked a cake, it wouldn't have to be in a shoe, or maybe in a flower pot, or even in a hat, but not in a cake pan, because he did not have one. And in the third place, Mr. Porter had no cookbook. He had books on seaweed, he had books on clouds, he had books on Chinese trees, but he had no cookbook. Mr. Porter thought about no cookbooks, no cake pans, and back then he did not bake a cake. He said to Tabby, maybe for Christmas Mrs. Tiberi would like a nice cup of tea and card. Chapter 3 marries 1 week before Christmas. Mr. Porter and Tabby took a trip to the sweet shop. It was owned by a woman famous for cakes. He bakes cakes with names like Strawberry Roman Pumpkin Apple Brownie Surprise. Her name was Mary Sue, and if anyone could teach Mr. Porter to bake a cake, it would be she. Mr. Porter told her his story. He wanted to bake a Christmas cake. He said, something light, something airy, something that not break a person's toe. Mary Sue listened carefully. She took good notes, and then she began to sell him things. She sold Mr. Porter 7 bars. She sold Mr. Porter 3 shifters. She sold Mr. Porter 10 spoons, 5 cups, 2 spatulas, a roll of the paper, and a Christmas tree pan. Then she sold him an Easy Baker cookbook and sent him out the door. Mr. Porter had spent $100, and his store didn't have any flour. Chapter 4 Something Airy. On Christmas Eve, Mr. Porter had everything he needed. He had flour, sugar, eggs, he had spoons, bowls, sifters, he had a cookbook, he had a pan, and he had a good cat to keep him company. Mr. Butter baked all night long. His first cake poured flat. His second cake wouldn't leave the pan. His third cake caught on fire. By the time he baked a fourth cake, it was Christmas morning. Mr. Butter's eyes were droopy, his face was saggy, he was moving very slowly. But Mr. Butter did not give up. By 9 o'clock in the morning, he had my most beautiful cake in the whole world. It was light, it was airy, it would not break off his toe. He woke up Tabby, and together they took the cake to Mrs. T-Berry. Mrs. T-Berry was lucky. She was patient, because as soon as Mr. Butter sat down in a chair, he fell asleep. And she had wait 12 hours before she cut her cake. She would have been without Mr. Butter, and that is how long it slept. But when he finally woke up, Miss T-Berry was there with Tabby and her own dog Zeke, and they ate cake and drank tea and watched the snow pour all night long. And Mr. Butter and Tabby went home with very nice toaster that sang America the Beautiful and the Bride Captain. Good